All right, hello and welcome, guys, in our actually first FIBARO webinars. My name is Christian, and basically I'm the head of the customer experience in FIBARO, and today I will try to explain you a little bit more about what actually smart home is. This is the topic of our today's webinars. I hope that you guys can hear me very, very well. Currently, actually, this is our first webinar, so this is some kind of the communication way that we are still testing, and so it will probably take around 30 to 40 minutes. If you have any questions, basically we've scheduled some time for answer your questions in the comments, so please feel to ask me anything. The main idea of the FIBARO webinars is to communicate with you guys a little bit more frequently, and basically to touch some topics around general smart home. So we are trying to keep it on very, I would say, basic level to very user-friendly level. It will not be like super hardcore technical topics, but I want to keep it very, very user-friendly. So my name is Christian Bergman. Let's move on. Please leave me the comment. Please let me know if you like it. You can also send me some LinkedIn invitation. So, okay, let's keep moving. So, the actual topic for today is what actually smart home means. What is the smart home in general, right? Our webinars, Homo Smartus, the Homo Smartus is our, I will call it persona, is someone that is really, really aware of the environment, aware of the smart home technologies, but this is also the person that's trying to, be involved in general smart technologies. So what does it mean? What is actually the smart homes? So usually for most of us, we all remember this, the Jetsons animated series from probably the 1960s. And there was already some Home of Tomorrow concept, right? And it actually, so the action of this animated series was in 2062. So we still have around 40 years, but we already have some technologies that we could observe in these movies. So, for example, this robotic assistant was called Rosie. She's a little bit like the Amazon Alexa and probably Roomba combined. On the other hand, we had the technologies like the video phones, and we had their technologies like, for example, the robotic vacuum cleaners. So it was one of the concepts that probably you can imagine when considering smart home. The other way is, of course, the movie The Blade Runner 2049. And it was a little bit darker vision of the smart home, where we had this digital assistant called Joy, and she was more like your personal home assistant. But we also could observe some cases that we rather can use in our smart home nowadays. For example, the voice assistants, the food preparation, automatic food preparation, maybe some cleaning, and just entertainment in general. So usually when I'm like asking someone, what do you think, what actually smart home is, this person mostly will answer that, this is something where you can control your lights using your mobile phones. So this is something like the remote controllers. We all know those advertisements where someone is, lying on the beach, having the full control all the time, washing is everything okay at home, but of course this is one of the part of the smart home, but it is not actually the case what really the smart home is. Probably you have better things to do when you're lying on the beach rather than only, you know, checking what's going on at home, right? So, and on the other hand, what people are usually saying is that, you know, I know what smart home is, but probably it's very expensive. So this is another thing that, you know, a little bit like the mind block that we are trying to figure out, working with our customers, how to convince them that, in fact, technology is moving on. It's not so expensive anymore. So the same as we had in like 1980s, for example, right? We had this personal computers or mobile phones that was like cutting edge technology, very, very expensive. Right now, it's available for everyone. And this is exactly the same story with smart home. It's getting really, really available for everyone. Okay, so according to Wikipedia, some of the Wikipedia they have this kind of the definition is super, super long, and it's very technical. But there are some specific words that are like telling about smart home a little bit more. And first of all, the smart home is one system, one integrated system at your home that was designed for maximization or helping you with your comfort, safety, minimizing your everyday costs, and basically reduction of the carbon footprint that you can basically live on the planet, or just minimize its operating cost or minimizing its cost in general. So this is, I would say, very good definition. This is one integrated management system, usually connected to the internet. Simple as that. So it all started in around the 1970s for the smart home as we can know it as it is right now. As you can all imagine, as you probably know, automation in general isn't anything quite new. We are using the automation in the industry almost entire 20th century, but using the automation itself in our home is around, we started around 1970s with the X10 system in the United States. So, and most of the, I would call it industrial systems, are basically wired based. And what is different with FIBARO and what it makes it so user-friendly, so simple, is that basically we are using the wireless technology. So we are not using any wires, we are using completely separate wireless technology. So what does it mean that actually the system is wireless or it's wired? It's nothing bad about the wired system at all. This is only a matter of sending the signals between the devices. And it means that, for example, at your home or in your flat or in your apartment, it means that if you are using the wired system or if you want to buy the wired system, you will need to install some additional wire installation at your home, usually. Usually it will be considered with remodeling your walls or changing something with your walls, because you need to physically put the wires in your walls to connect all the devices together, right? So with FIBARO, we are believing from the very beginning in a totally different approach, because the wireless technologies are getting more and more popular, and it has so many pros against wired technology. We decided to go completely wireless. So we are using two types of the technologies. One technology is Z-Wave, and the other technology is Apple HomeKit. So why to use wireless technology? What is the benefit of using the wireless smart home? Actually, the first thing is that how fast it is during the installation. So what is like the speed of installing the smart home system? First of all, when you are using the wireless technology, you can install it as it is in every building, in every installation, in every electrical system. Also the existing ones. So you can use it at your old home. You don't need to, change anything, install new wires. You can just install it in the existing installation system. The second thing is the modularity. It means that you can start with some very simple system, and then you can add additional elements one after another, as long as you will, go ahead with having fun with all the devices together. So you can add additional modules, additional devices. You don't need to buy everything in the very beginning. The third reason is the flexibility. It means that basically you can use it wherever you want to, and you can even take the system with you to the new house or to the new apartment. So it means, again, you can start with a very simple system. You can install it in all type of the installation. It can be all type electrical system, the new one with the neutral wires or not. This is all, the technical reasons, but in general, you can use it almost always in every electrical installation. If you don't have this additional wire installation, usually you will find the installation cost lower. So in other words, it's much more affordable than the wired system. I've mentioned in the beginning that usually people will say that the smart home is the technology that is usually very, very expensive. And unfortunately, for a lot of years, it was true, because the smart home was very expensive technology. However, nowadays, because the electronics are moving forwards, the market is moving forward. Right now, the cost of the single device is usually around 60, 70 bucks. So it's very, very affordable. And as being said, because of we are not using the, all wired long professional installation, usually this kind of the installation is much more affordable. What is very important for us is that we also want to use the proven technologies. We found that Z-Wave or Apple HomeKit technology, that I really don't want to elaborate a little bit more on this presentation, is really proven technology. It's on the market for a long time. There is a lot of solutions that we can cover. And more or less, there will always be some producer that will provide you proper solution with proper quality, with proper price. So the wide range of solution is very, very important for us. So like having it all in the summary, what actually FIBARO Smart Home, or we even call it intelligent home, is the place where various home appliances communicate with each other. We are using the wireless technology. And the home can be managed with a dedicated mobile app or voice or your gestures, right? So the mobile app is very, very fundamental for us. And right now, the number one is, of course, your voice controlling. The same as with Jetsons, the same as we had with Blade Runner. And of course, this is obvious, but in general, a smart home can be controlled and managed and supervised from anywhere in the world. So this is our definition of the smart home. So again, what does it exactly mean? So this is actually FIBARO on the one picture. So how it works, how does it work, what does it mean? So the main idea, the main philosophy behind this technology is that you all probably, guys, have that you have your electrical system at home, right? And our modules, this little black pill that you guys are, seeing here, it is called a micro module, and it needs to be installed in the electrical boxes. And then you can control this specific device or this specific, what we call electrical circuit, with this specific micro module. It can be like the socket, it can be light, and can be RGBW strip or whatever. But the main thing is that we are using the existing electrical installation, and we can adjust this existing electrical installation to smart home. And we are using the electrical boxes for that. So the general part of every home automation or smart home system are basically few elements. The first elements is the brain. In our case, it might be the Home Center 3. It is also Home Center 2 or Home Center Lite. So we call it gateway, or we call it the controller. The other thing are what we call the senses, all the sensors. So then we can detect, carbon monoxide, motion, temperature, light level, or we can detect some actions or some movement in some specific rooms. So this is like our senses. Then we can have some things like the actors or actuators or executive like elements. So these are the elements that are doing like something, controlling something, like moving our roll blinds, opening our gates, turning the lights on and off. And last but not least, from the user perspective, the most important part is the mobile application or some kind of the interface that this user can, use every day. So it can be also his voice, it can be his gestures, it can be some kind of the sensory button that he can use. Or, for example, in case of like Apple HomeKit technology, it can be also your Apple Watch, for example. So you can have always your home with you. So it was the more like technical stuff, but the obvious question that we can always have when considering this kind of the technologies is basically, will it solve any of my problems? So what kind of the problems will it solve? And the first thing, we have like few fundamentals of our system, some very basic needs that we are trying to cover with this general solution. But it all started with the remote controllers. So as you probably can imagine, nowadays at our home, we all have like 3, 4, or 5 different remote controllers. So I've got my separate one for TV. I had my like different one for my hi-fi system. Then we could have the third one for the set-top box, for example. The other one for the remotes, or for my roll blinds or gates. Like it's like crazy, right? We can have like 4, 5, or 6 different remote controllers. So the main idea is to improve our comfort and to use only one device to control everything, right? Like the one ring that will, control everything. But in general, to have only single interface, to have single app that will control everything, or it can be some button, or it can be your voice, it can be your voice assistant, or what is really the smart home idea is to have all those daily activities automated. So you don't need to use your remote controller anymore. You should use the automation as much as you can use it. But despite of this remote controlling thing, there are also, I would say, like 3 main foundations of the system that we are finding right now. The first thing is, first of all, the smart home system should improve your safety and security. So this is the main reason why usually people are buying smart home system or want to have the smart home system. They want to improve their safety or their security somehow. Of course, they want to improve their comfort. This is extremely important in our houses, specifically nowadays when, we are unfortunately a little bit closed with our societies. We are closed at home, so still having all those home offices, we are trying to keep the comfort, and this part of the smart home environment is really, really important. The Third reason is, of course, our savings. So we are trying to, let's say, lower the carbon footprint that we are living on the planet. We are trying to create sustainable economy. We are trying to use the most efficient heating system or cooling system, and this is where smart home is getting really, really, really effective. So if we will always think about some real saving, this is where smart home is really, really helpful. Right, so what is actually, what is our like daily routine when we have our smart home system, what this smart home system can actually do? So we have all those daily routines that we are like repeating mostly day after day. Usually when we are waking up, it can, you know, letting your light gentle into your bedroom, it can control your roller blinds. It can, if you will have some smart coffee maker integrated, it can even, you know, make your favorite coffee for you. But of course, it can like prepare your security system for going out to the office, or it can start some gardening routine. So these are all those small automation that you can use. Then when we are leaving our houses, I hope it will really happen as soon as possible. So it can prepare the house for your leave. But the same when we are like staying at home all the time, it can also make sure that we will be very secure in our houses. I'm mostly saying about some anti-theft protection, security protection, life protection, like carbon monoxide or smoke detection. We have the security, so this is probably the most popular use case of all. So we can, of course, monitor our home, check, is it okay inside? Is it okay like remotely? But of course, if we will have this home or apartment in some separate spaces, like for example, we will have some, I don't know, vacation houses, or we will install this system in our relatives' houses. We can also check remotely if those people are okay. Then when we are going back to our home, we can check if like our heating ventilation system is running well. So actually it can also, you know, prepare the house for our return, and therefore it can also generate the savings, because we are using the temperature controlling or air conditioning controlling only when we need to. Then we have this all the home appliances of the world integrations, right? It means that, for example, during the evening, your smart home system can prepare the house for your movie night action or scenario. So it can control some specific, or the brain of the system can start some specific scenario of like turning the lights off, you know, gently start some other small lights, preparing your favorite movie channel, or start some action on your high fidelity system. So it can all be automated and perform one after another. So I will tell a little bit more about the Internet of Things philosophy still today, but in general, we can, like with FIBARO system and the smart home system, it can also, the main idea is to also connect all other smart home systems or other smart systems like smart TV, smart vacuum cleaners, smart sprinkler system together. Then we have this very popular topic right now, and this is the mood controlling. So where like kids are going to sleep, we can make sure that the entire space will be prepared for them, that the color of the lights, the temperature of the lights will be properly adjusted to cause the good mood or proper or specific mood to the situation. And of course, we can also, for example, control some other parameters related with the lights, right? But right now the mood and how it can be, you know, how it's related with our health is right now one of the most important topics. Then we have this gardening, because, you know, like the house is not, or the apartment is not always about the building. This is also related with what we have around or when we are moving right now. So this is also, of course, the gardening. So, you know, how to use the water in a very sustainable way. Should I always water in my garden when I'm not actually use and need this water? So these are all the answers that can be provided by the smart home system. So it can control your watering system. It can turn off the sprinklers as long when you will, for example, walk across the garden. And then it can, of course, also control the lights based on your daily activity, for example. So, like, having it all together, I would say that mostly it's around, like, we have 12, but the possibilities are, of course, unlimited. But it all started with lighting control. This is the most popular use case of all. But we have also the roller shutter and gauge control that we can do it remotely. We can do it using the schedules. We have this climate control. We have heating, ventilation, air conditioning, climate control that can really, that is not also important for our saving, but it's also very important for our health. We have the life security functionalities like the fire protection or carbon monoxide detection, for example, but also we have something like security, like the leak detection, that the system can, for example, cut your water and it will not cause any, you know, damages at your home, at your floor. We have also this kind of the smart home system can provide the anti-theft functionalities, like we have the wireless sensor, or we can integrate with existing alarm system and then use this alarm system functionality to some others elements of the smart home system, which makes it really, really fundamental, because in smart home system, it is always around connecting those functionalities together. So motion detection is my perfect protector when I'm not home, but for example, when I will be there, it can turn the lights on, right? So I can use every element in many different ways. Of course, we have this watering system as being set, controlling of every electrical appliances, and last but not least, this multimedia management, and we can control it, all of those using our mobile apps, our smart watches, or our smart assistants using our voice. Okay, but there is always more than that, and we really strongly believe that potentially the smart home might be the answer for the needs of tomorrow. So we are all right now in completely different reality. This one is, of course, related with coronavirus and COVID-19 disease. And I would say that this situation completely rebuilded the way how we are existing in our apartments or in our houses, because most of the people, or a lot of the people, are basically either they need to be at home all the time, or they are working from home. So our home environment was suddenly totally expanded to the new environment, which is our office, for example, and using those kind of the and having those kind of the situation, we need also to find the ways that we will utilize or use the smart home system. For example, if we will very wisely use our heating ventilation system, if we will reduce the cost, it can be also very helpful when in managing the lights, even if you are staying at home, and also providing you the security most of the time when you will be at your home as well. So right now, our smart home was totally expanded also to some home office applications. The other thing is very important for us, and it's taking care of the people that their needs to be cared very specifically. As you probably know, in most of our societies, we are getting older. The societies are getting older and older. We will have more and more elderly persons, specifically in Europe, and those kind of the users are also very, very important, because using very simple smart home technologies, we can help those people exist and use their homes at the daily basis. So even having very simple motion detection or detecting was the bathroom doors open and close, is someone leaving the home or is someone is leaving his bedroom. These are very simple information that we can get information from, and making sure that, for example, our parents or grandparents are safe right now. On the other hand, we have the new generations, like the Z generation, the people that are very, very young, and those people are connected to the internet all the time. So how to answer their needs of tomorrow? Right now we are thinking in general about something like the new sharing economy, and those people are not willing to have houses or apartments for their own. They prefer to rent it, and we've observed that, for example, their number one priority is also the safety, but the comfort. They are mostly living around their beds, but the things like the functionalities, like giving someone the access to your home, will create totally new values for them. So at the end of the day, it is also the smart home is related with the Internet of Things philosophy, and because FIBARO will never be the only producer, and we will not manufacture all available solutions on the planet. And this is where the Internet of Things philosophy is coming. It means that the devices are creating the invisible network of data and exchanging those data to expand their possibilities. For example, I can have this robot vacuum cleaner or smart TV, but when I will connect it to my smart home system, I can expand its functionality. And the same with the alarm system, for example. So it can be the regular security system or the alarm system, but when I will connect it to bigger network of the devices, I can expand the functionalities of the security system. For example, it can open my garage doors or open my blinds, right? Or inform my relatives that everything is okay with me. So this philosophy is still very important for us. There are hundreds, thousands of connected devices that we are using every day. And the smart locks or smart windows, some multimedia devices of the world, or I would say only the home voice assistants like Google Home, Amazon Alexa, or Siri that we are using, and we want to make sure that our system will also be connected very well to just provide the better experience and the better and the more useful use cases. But the obvious question at the end will be, at what cost will it happen? So what is the cost of this entire comfort? So the first thing that we need always to address are the privacy concerns, because there is always the question, who is also listening of my smart home system? And this is very, very important part for us, because I strongly believe that right now in 21st century we will need, and we are redefining our privacy completely. So there will be total redefinition of the privacy phrase. In the age of social media, Facebook, our privacy is totally different thing. And the main goal that needs to be very important for the smart home manufacturer is that make sure that the privacy of the user will be very well secured in the system. So we need to make sure that we will provide the technology that will be very well secured from your privacy and from your security point of view. So the privacy of your data is very, very important for us. It was the reason why we, from the day one, we designed a gateway that is using your data on your local machine, not specifically only at cloud, but you can have to use this data only locally, for example. But still, as the producer, we are trying to secure the privacy with, let's say, cutting-edge technologies as much as it's possible right now. On the other hand, we have always this hacking possibilities with the system. So what will it happen if someone will, take control? It wouldn't be a big problem if we would only have like the lights controlling at our homes, but right now our smart home is, as mentioned before, our smart office as well. We are, thinking about some elderly or digital home assistant solutions. So we need to make sure that it will be always very well secured. So the obvious answer for this is that, of course, unfortunately, every system can be hacked, but we as the manufacturer trying to use the technologies that are just the best for securing your data. We are trying to, and also we are cooperating with the security, with data security companies every day to make sure that we will release all the paths and all the updates for our gateway to make sure that it's just properly secured, that your data is properly secured. And this is also why we are using wireless Z-Wave or HomeKit technologies, because this is just nowadays very well secured. So in general, as a summary, why to use the smart home? What is the benefit of using the smart home technology? First of all, we want to increase our safety. We want to increase our security for like detecting some dangerous situation for us, like the smoke or carbon monoxide. We can significantly increase the safety of us and our relatives. Then, what is also very important, we want to make sure that we will live in very sustainable, let's say, ecological environment. We want to save this environment. We want to make sure that we will leave the lowest carbon footprint as possible. And this is where smart home is also very helpful. It will optimize, or it will use it will manage your heating solution wisely, so you will use mostly less energy to, for example, warm your home. So we need to make sure that also we are living in very sustainable environment. Right now, there is also very big discussion around something which is called circular economy, and this is also where smart home can be very useful and can be used. So we are trying to use and reuse all the materials that we are using every day at our homes. Then, what is also very important, we believe that will save our health. When we are considering possibilities like monitoring like PM2.5 particles, which means that probably this is one of the deadliest substances that we right now have in our health, helping wash our air around. We will improve our health in general. Last but not least, we really believe that it will help to take care of the closest ones, the elderly people, for example. So when we will have, right now, we can observe that from many different research that, for example, only monitoring the doors to For example, using your bathroom is very, very useful information if everything is okay at our home. Also monitoring the environment, monitoring is the home secured, or just helping those people being in their homes, like helping them with their everyday activities will be much more, it will mostly increase their comfort. So we have those 4 fundamentals. We want to improve our security, we want to save the planet, we want to improve our health and help our the closest ones. So thank you very much with this part. The good news is that it seems that I can see some comments from you guys. So actually, I can, try to answer some of them. If you will have also still some questions, please feel free to ask them on on the wall. Also, make sure you will leave the comment and you will let us know how it all worked out. I need also to make sure, guys, that this is not like regular technical Q&A session. So there are some technical questions. So more or less, let me check what is happening. First of all, I can see that there are some questions about integration. For example, the next one, I need to answer, are we planning to improve that? Are we planning to have the new integrations? So the answer for that is, in general, yes. There are few ways of integrating many different devices. We can also use IFTTT, for example. Our main philosophy is having more and more devices integrated in the system, because this is the main core value of the home automation system for us. Your Home Center 3 is so expensive. How do you plan to complete with SmartEngs or the Habitat system? Right, yeah, thank you for this question. I would say that these are totally different products. The main FIBARO system, I mean Home Center 3 and Home Center 2 or Home Center Lite. Specifically, Home Center 3 is more like the professional tool for the installers. Probably, yes, SmartEngs system is much more, I would say, affordable, but still all the possibilities, the privacy, the security that I've mentioned around Home Center 3 is basically, this is the cutting edge technology gateway, and probably you will find much more functionalities there. If you guys are reporting any problems or questions about the system, I would recommend also to contact our support team or our forums. Okay. There are some other, the next question. There are also some compatibly more or less questions. So yeah, I believe that probably, we can address it also as the discussion in our comments later on. So, okay, are there any, okay, you mentioned that you had some issues with the cameras. I believe that we will all address those with the latest updates. Right now we are doing a lot of the improvements in the Home Center 3 environment. So we are releasing, we are really working on, the customer experience, releasing more and more software updates. So hopefully it will solve most of the issues that you guys are reporting. I'm using double switch, right? So you guys are using our devices. Okay, in general, let me know what you guys are thinking about this kind of the communication in the comments. We are trying to having those kind of the webinars very user-friendly, very, on the basic level, but still we plan also to release some webinars related with a little bit more technical parts. So there will be the webinar related with the wireless technologies, maybe some other topics about the integrations, about the Internet of Things. So for me, like, it will be most of it. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope you guys will like it. Please leave us a comment. Let us know maybe also about some topics that you guys would like to, hear from us. So thank you very much. Take care and keep safe. Thank you. Thank you very much.